at JCC Association of North America. I have short gray hair, blue glasses that are round, and I'm wearing a light blue shirt and the same color cardigan. My pronouns are he, him, and his. As part of JCC Association of North America's ongoing commitment to inclusion efforts throughout the JCC movement, we are proud to present a series of 4 programs on Thursdays at noon featuring our JCCs of North America and invited guest speakers. Today's program, A Culture of Belonging, How the JCC Movement is Leading the Way on Equality and Inclusiveness, is co-sponsored by the Jewish Federations of North America. JFNA has been an amazing partner and support as we deepen our commitment to this essential part of our work. We are truly grateful to them for all of their support. I'd like to thank our Inclusion of People with Disabilities Working Group at JCC Association for their dedication and passion to this work and this series. Guided by our Jewish values, we commit to building and amplifying a culture of belonging across the JCC movement, where people of all identities and abilities are welcome, have access, are safe, recognized, and celebrated. This program illustrates the ways our values ensure that people with disabilities have access to their community, to the state of Israel, and to our hearts and homes. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Todd Rockoff, CEO and president of the Tucson JCC in Tucson, Arizona, who will be the moderator for this session. Todd?
Thank you, Mark. It's truly my honor to be here with all of you today as a part of this very meaningful month of programs. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Behold how good and pleasant it is when people are here together as one. In what are non-COVID times, the JCC movement sees more than 1.5 million people per week walk through our doors, many of them with varying abilities, and it is our responsibility to create space and activities that are accessible to all. The JCC is the town square of our communities and the engine for growing and strengthening community for all. We do this by meeting each person where they are and walking beside them as they create their individual and our community collective Jewish journey. The JCC Association Statement of Principles for the 21st Century imagines the JCC as a vibrant and welcoming Jewish environment, and a place where differences are respected. We affirm the interaction between diverse groups of Jews is critical for the well-being of the future of the Jewish people. This statement applies not only to Jews who differ with regard to ritual observance, ethnicity, race, nationality, economic class, or gender identity, but also to a wide range of typicality across all domains of human functioning, cognitive, emotional, motor, and perceptual. JCCs aspire to be a place where all Jews across all spectrum can call home. Jewish tradition teaches us of our obligation to ensure equal access for all people to help facilitate the full participation of individuals with disability. In our communal life, we are taught in Pirkei Avot, do not separate yourself from the community. With that in mind, JCCs actively work to prevent anyone from being separated from the community because of lack of opportunity, activity, or acceptance. It is our brit, our pledge at the Tucson Jewish Community Center, that we create community based on Jewish values by providing the highest quality programs and services in a safe and secure environment for all people of all ages. In this spirit, wonderful work is happening on the ground in JCCs across North America. I am pleased to turn the program over to Sarah Sless, Assistant Director, JCC Association Israel Center for Engagement and Director of the Israel Seminars, who will be in conversation with Limor Cohen, Inclusion Coordinator at the JCCs of Vancouver, and Elisa Polsky, a participant in their program.
Thank you, Todd. Yes, my name is Sarah, I'm sitting at my home in Israel. I have shortish blonde hair, well, sort of blonde, bit gray, and wear blue framed reading glasses. I'm wearing a white sweater, and I am so excited to be here. We feel very honored to be starting the first of the JCC Association sessions by focusing on a special journey to Israel for a very special community, the Bagel Club. When Todd spoke of the Jewish lenses in our work, there is no doubt that visiting Israel is a masa, a journey. I invite you all to join this masa of learning, this journey of learning and exploration with our very special guests, Limor and Elisa. Wonderful to have you with us today. The purpose of our short session today is to share with our Zoom friends here, those we can see and those we can't see, about a very special journey you undertook together in March 2017 to come to Israel. We won't have time in this session to go into the huge amount of details involved in the planning and execution of such a journey. And we have decided to concentrate on giving you a taste of the experience. From Limor, who was a consummate professional responsible for the planning of and leading of the trip, and from Elisa, who was one of the wonderful participants in the group, who trusted Limor to bring her on the journey. I promise you that if by the end of the session, you too will want to think about joining or bringing a group to Israel, we, the JCC Association Center for Israel Engagement, and Limor will be happy to walk you through the whys, the hows, the do's and the don'ts. So Elisa, it's great to see you again. It's been 3 long years since we met for the last time. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and share what your connection is to the JCC?
Well, it's good. It's good to see you again after all these years. I've been thinking about you, and I've been a member of the JCC for about 4 years, and I'm also a member of the Bagel Club, and the JCC is like my second home.
That's so wonderful. Thank you. Limor, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the Bagel Club and the JCC of Greater Vancouver?
Of course. I'd just like to say how wonderful it is to be here and to see you, Sarah. It was such a pleasure to work with you in planning this trip back in 2017. I actually have a digital clip that I'd like to share, which will introduce some of our programming and our beloved Bagel Club community. So if maybe we want to start with that.
Absolutely, here goes. So let's just hope it works. Bear with me.
It'll work. There you go.
Hi, I'm Limor. I'm the Inclusion Services Coordinator at the JCC in Vancouver. I oversee a suite of low barrier and free social and recreational programs to engage, educate, and provide meaningful lifelong learning opportunities to community members with diverse needs. One of our oldest programs, and where it all begins, is our Bagel Club Social Club, established in 1996. Bagel Club is a weekly social program to increase avenues for integration, self-reliance, and wellness in the Jewish and larger community. Our community has very strong ties with our partnership region in the Upper Galilee Panhandle, as we are participated in many exchange programs and missions over the years. Knowing that most of the Bagel Club participants had never been to Israel, in 2016, my supervisor pitched the idea of a group trip. With the support of the Jewish Federation of Greater Vancouver, the JCC Association, and the JCC Israel Center, the idea took off. 7 months later, 10 members of our community, 2 staff of the JCC, a support staff, and 1 board member arrived in Israel. The trip was out of this world. It was filled with cultural experiences as we visited the traditional sites that define Israel and the Jewish people. We went to Beit Gavrin National Park to dig for a day. We went to the Dead Sea, the Israel Museum, Masada, Independence Hall, where we learned about the birth of the State of Israel. We went to Miot Kedumim, Biblical Nature Reserve, and of course, Yad Vashem. An important aspect of our trip was facilitating relationship building for our own group, as well as through activities with communities from our partnership region. These shared experiences resonated powerfully and connected us to communities like our own, making up the foundation for future friends, collaborators, and networks of support. We participated in numerous activities to strengthen our own group, such as sharing the chocolate making workshop at Kibbutz Dafna and a music and dance workshop at Merkaz Klor. We spent time with 2 different youth groups making strides in community inclusion. We went to Beit Vancouver to meet with Crembo Wings, a youth-led movement to promote inclusion. We participated in one of their rallies, we enjoyed games and face painting, and we were so impressed by these young community leaders. We also met with Samid Israeli Scouts and shared in some wonderful group activities, including making pita on a traditional taboon. We had an amazing arts and crafts workshop at the Kohav organization's Ma'arag Work Inclusion Occupational Center and connected with the community members there. They have an incredible training program in the arts and crafts industry, and we were certainly inspired by these experiences. We also met up with Access Israel's Motek Shel Teatron Sweetheart Theater Group for dinner and a theater workshop at Tel Hai College. It was an amazing experience. The disability advocacy part of our trip was developed to empower our community members by presenting a Jewish culture not only inclusive of each individual, but supportive of individual differences. We visited Harutzim Cafe, which employs people in Israel with diverse needs like our own community members. We visited Shalva National Center to learn about the work done to support children and families with diverse needs. Finally, through a connection with Access Israel, we, along with the community group Motek Shel Teatron, were given a guided tour of the Knesset and an incredible meeting with Ilan Gilon, member of Knesset and chairman of the Knesset Caucus for the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. It was a very powerful and moving experience. I have been to Israel many times before, but never like this. This trip transformed me. I can honestly say that everyone who's part of the mission was impacted profoundly about the importance of sharing Israel to make travel accessible and available to all members of our community. This was a once-in-a-lifetime trip for all those involved and a wish realized for our Bagel Club.
Wow. I've seen that already a few times, and each time it makes me even more emotional. It was such a beautiful picture and memories of such a great time. So Limor, I remember very clearly you brought the group to Israel in 2017. And when I met you and your group at Ben Gurion Airport, this was not the beginning of the journey. The journey, in fact, started many, many months before, when the idea of bringing the Bagel Club to Israel was suggested to you. What motivated you to embark on this huge adventure? Why was it so important to you?
Well, I was really early in my position when the idea came up, and I was getting to know this incredible community, delivering programming, and you know, when it sat with me that these community members hadn't been to Israel, there was a possibility that this could happen. I felt compelled. I felt absolutely compelled. You know, I realized that I was working for an organization that was really, really committed to investing in our community and investing in inclusion. And knowing that I had that behind me, you know, was a real driving force. Yeah, it was just a rare opportunity that came up, and you just don't say no, right? You just don't say no when you know that you know, you have an opportunity to help your friends see Israel.
And how wonderful that you had the support and backing of your community and your professional leadership.
I mean, you know, the JCC really wanted to see this happen. Our community members, there was just a strong community will. As soon as the word got out that we were going, you know, we received donations. Yeah, this is a beloved community. This is a beloved community.
I know it's one of my favorites. I know we shouldn't have favorites, but it's my favorite. Lisa, tell me something. Can you share with me or with everybody what was so important for you about going on this journey with the Bagel Club, coming to Israel?
Able to experience the culture in Israel, to go to the Western Wall and to feel I have it written down, sorry.
Take your time.
Okay, one second. Sorry about this. Why it was important that we went to Israel with my community, and a wonderful opportunity for all of us in the Bagel Club to go and spend 2 weeks in the Holy Land and experience the culture and the food and where we came from. And,
Thank you. So,
yeah, and that's about it.
That's it. You know what? I have my notes as well, so it's just fine. Do you have a favorite memory from your trip? Which was one of your favorite places?
Going to the parliament and meeting Ilan Gilon, which was powerful, and knowing that in Canada and in Israel, we both have the same issues like housing, affordability, people with disabilities. I never realized that people in Israel supported people with disabilities, and that just blew me away. And the Israeli society just welcomes people with disabilities into every aspect of society, and it makes me cry just thinking about it, and wish that in Canada we have more. I suppose we do, but or in any part of the world we should have more, be able to have more resources for people who have disabilities, no matter what disabilities they have.
Absolutely. And I think that although you're very praiseworthy of Israel, there's still lots to be done here as well. So we're in this fight together. Limor, the word impact is a very big word now these days. We have to show impact about everything when we evaluate our programs. And of course, when we ask funders for support, what was some of the impact of your trip? We've heard from Elisa, but what about the other participants, their families, the Bagel Club, the wider community?
Well, I mean, yeah, the impact was huge. I think you can look at it from so many different perspectives. I think sort of at the micro on the individual level, I think that going on this trip sent a really powerful message to the community that when we see an inequity, we correct for it. That's what communities do. And we saw an inequity and we corrected for it. But I would say on an individual level, you know, we're Jewish people. And if we can't live in Israel, we visit, right? We go. And so once we facilitated this trip for our community members and our friends, they could now enter any conversation with any other Jewish person and have that common ground. that yes, I've also been to Israel. I've been to that place. And I think that that's an entry into a totally different world, to be able to enter all those conversations about what it means to go home. So I think that that is, a really big impact that that everyone who's been on the trip will carry with them. But I'll also say too that once this group was able to go to Israel, they were really well positioned to come back and return to the community and to start talking about inclusion, having experienced a really big example of community inclusion. They were able to go and they were able to, to share their experience in classrooms and with other social groups. And in fact, the following year, basically that year, our celebration for JDAM was going to Israel. And the following year, we struck up a committee and we really bolstered visibility of who, what does our community look like? Who comprises our community? And we had a huge visibility campaign. Members of the group were part of the committee. We had a lot of community gathering to celebrate JDAM. And I feel like Elisa wants to say something.
No, please go on.
But jump in if you do. So, I think that there were multiple impacts. I think we're a better community for it. This was a JCC achievement, but it was, also due to, our federation in Vancouver. And it was also just the will of the community, right? So, we all share in that. And we hope to make another trip. There are other accessible trips, but there was something special about this trip. And, God willing, we'll do it again. And, this group will help us prepare the younger group for travel, for what to expect. And also to build an itinerary that reflects, their needs. And also too will be subsidized so that, we're not just talking about making Israel accessible, in one way. We're talking about, removing all of the barriers, including the financial ones. And the reality is that a lot of individuals with disabilities, aren't able to make this kind of trip without the support of the community.
Which I think is financial support, but also the fact that you just enveloped them in love and caring, and they trusted you. And as such, because Elisa and her fellow travelers knew you, they would go anywhere with you, right? So it was just very special.
And there's a lot of anxiety around traveling to Israel. So Elisa, I know you want to say something, so please, by all means.
I have to mute. My cat's talking, so I have to mute.
So Elisa, you'll be happy to know that watching you tonight is Shari. Shari was the tour guide, the tour educator. She was in some of the pictures, and she agrees with me, or I agree with her, that this experience profoundly changed us as well. And so it was a real win-win for everybody. I want to wrap. Yeah.
I did have one. Please, if you do talk to Sherry, please give her my love and thank her for, and I hope she's doing well.
I will indeed. I certainly will. And she can hear you, so she doesn't need me to tell her.
Hi,
you
Sherry.
Can't see her, but she can see you. And she's sending love back. She's just wrote. So, right, it's the tour educator, that whole wrapping, Limor, that made the trip so special and took it to the other level. So I want to be mindful of our time and say thank you, Elisa, thank you to Limor, thank you to the JCC of Greater Vancouver. This was so inspiring. What a way to begin our sessions and our commitment to be a community of belonging and of inclusion. Thank you for sharing your Masa, your journey as individuals, your journey as a community and your journey to Israel. We're so proud that we could partner with you to make this journey possible. Having the chance to work with you both in Israel was, for me, as I just said, one of the most powerful and, in fact, a life-changing moment for me in my professional and my personal life. You know, I just want to end with this. Participants who come to Israel get a source book. You may remember you got a source book of readings and pictures and maps and all sorts of things. And we open the source book for everybody with the following poem. It's by a Yiddish poet called Yitzhak Yasinovitz. One does not travel to Jerusalem, one returns. One ascends the road taken by generations. The path of longing on the way to redemption. One brings rucksacks filled with memories to each mountain and each hill. In the cobbled alleyways, one offers a blessing for the memories in the past which will have been renewed. One does not travel to Jerusalem, one returns. Thank you, my love.
It was so nice to see you again. Hope you come to Canada soon.
I hope so too.
Yes.
Todd, over to you.
Thank you all very, very much. This was an incredibly moving story about an incredible journey and really showing all of us what is possible for all. It is now truly my pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, Liv Mendelson, who is the Director of Accessibility and Inclusion and Artistic Director of the Real Abilities Film Festival at the Miles Nadell JCC in Toronto, who will share with us some of their experience. Liv, thank you.
Thanks, Todd. And a big thank you to the JCCA for putting this together. It's always wonderful to be with Limor and our friends in Vancouver. And, you know, we're far away, but also very close. So it's great to be with you. I'm going to attempt to share my screen. If it doesn't work, we will, Mackenzie has kindly offered to assist, but let me just, okay, not too bad. Let's see if we can get it to the right. Hang on one sec, guys. I'm just going to put it into a slideshow format. No, it doesn't. Okay, there we go. Here we go. So I have been at the JCC for about 6 years now. And I want to tell you, this is a little bit of a how it started, how it's going story. So our vision of inclusion at the J in Toronto, the downtown J, we have 2 other amazing JCCs in Toronto as well, is more or less one of belonging, making sure that everyone who wants to belong feels that they can belong. So our main principle is that we want to gather together people based around their interests, not around their abilities. And we want to make sure that everybody has a Jewish life accessible to them in the way that they want it to look. We also wanted to make sure that our facility is as accessible as possible. And that financial accessibility is part of accessibility. And I think Limor touched on that in terms of the fundraising for their trip. That's often a very, very big barrier. So our goal is that anyone can attend any program at the J with the right support. And when you walk into the door or roll into the door at the JCC, we want you to bring everything, all of who you are. And so I got started on this journey about 7 years ago when I approached the J, talking with them about trying to find some inclusive Jewish programming for some children with autism. And we realized that that wasn't existing at the J, and the J, being the inclusive place that it is, applied for a grant to do a community needs assessment. And so that's what we did. And I think this mural really speaks to what's at the heart of the thinking at the JCC, which is a beautiful school created by a mural created by children in Boston. And it says, grow to be inclusive to grow. And so we've had to stretch and learn, and we've grown. And we've also grown in terms of impact and who we're reaching and who's part of our community, who was always there, but is now able to be there. So I'm just gonna read out one of these. This is from our 2015 survey. And these were important things to hear. I never feel as though I really belong when I attend a JCC program. While some individuals are always there to assist me, accessibility is never part of and included in the program. Signed up here, I was told one of the rooms was not accessible. I used a wheelchair. Although the people I was in contact with were kind, knowledgeable, helpful, I don't understand how the J could still program in rooms that are inaccessible. And this one here, I don't want or require special programs. I want accessibility to be a part of everything that is done at the J. Then I will feel included. So these were really, really, really important things for us to hear and to know. And we looked at a few different models of how we would proceed. This was a very helpful visual. Many of you who are in education work may have seen this before. And we really wanted to look at moving towards a model of inclusion. And we knew we needed help to do that, and we needed help from the community and from people with lived experience. So we set up two committees that are not just advisory committees, but are actually co-programming and co-creation committees. One is for adults who may have lived experience, who may have children or people they're caregiving for with disabilities. And one is our youth advisory committee, which is made up of people from 18 to 35 with lived experience. And I'll just quickly go through this. Inclusion is something that everybody at the J is involved in. So whatever your area of work, there's work to do. And there are resources to be created, training to be involved with. So we have more than 45 staff involved in our inclusion efforts. And we did a lot of training. So these are some of the groups that we did training with. And some of this was free training. Some of this we traded space in our building for training, lots of creative ways to get training in there. Some of this we invested in training, but these are all groups who came in and helped our fitness staff, our camp staff, our customer service staff, all of our staff learn more and get really invested. We also looked at who we hire and how we accommodate people and who's missing. So I won't go through all of these, but that's important to think about. And how we depict the diversity of our community, how we offer information, is our website accessible, how we refer to people. We created an inclusive language guide, accessibility style guide from our marketing team, which is here. And we wanted to make sure that staff and volunteers with disabilities had visible leadership. This is a fun one. This is a Purim program. And the people leading the craft activities are all young adults who participate in our programs. And it's really important for kids with and without disabilities to see people with disabilities in leadership roles. And for kids with disabilities to see people who look like them leading. Our customer service team after one of their trainings. We also looked at our building and we did an access audit. We had people walk and roll through and point out things that needed to change and identified no and low cost things and some big things that we applied for grants for. In the past 6 years, we've renovated our pool to put in a ramp, and we have renovated our theater to put in a lift so that you can be a presenter and a performer, not just an audience member. And we look at when we're buying things, what are we buying? And is it gonna make our center more accessible, or is it gonna create new barriers? So here comes, you've had me talk a lot, here comes some more fun pictures. So this is an example of some of the equipment that we have on our fitness floor, which gets used a lot by both folks with disabilities, seniors. It's very adaptable. Here's our pool with our ramp. We also have a sprinkler system in the lanes that we can put in. So if you're blind and you want to swim and you want to know where you are in the lane, there's a gentle sprinkle across the center of the lane. So if you're blind or low vision, you can swim independently. We also have a lift, which I don't know if you can see in the picture, but it's there. So this is sort of what things looked like before COVID. We focused a lot on young adults because that was came out in our needs assessment as a group who really needed support after they aged out of programs in schools and government programs. And we looked at all of our programs. What can we do to make every program more accessible? So here's some pictures that'll illustrate that. You have wheelchair basketball. We have a partnership with the Down Syndrome Association of Toronto so that our jungle gym includes people of all abilities. We have wheel dance, ballroom dance, yoga, Pilates, all of these programs that are for people of all abilities. This is a photo of our Disability Visibility Photography Project, which is a free program we run every year where people with disabilities learn photography skills and then take pictures that depict their community and their identity. We partner lots, story time, learning from people in the community, bringing community together. Alyssa talked a little bit about affordable, accessible housing. That's a very big issue in Toronto. The waiting list for affordable, accessible housing is more than 20 years, which is bananas. So we had our MP, Member of Parliament, in to talk about that. Different arts performances that we've produced. This is our Real Abilities Film Festival. And here's some of the impact. One of the things we wanted to make sure is that we were reaching people and letting them know about our subsidy programs. And so we saw a big increase in people asking for subsidies, which was really important. We're serving more than 300, now it's more than 500 young adults 18 to 30 with disabilities. That was a group we really wanted to focus on. And in our last survey, which was done in 2019, we didn't do it last year with the COVID situation, but many more people felt that we were inclusive. And then COVID hit. And so immediately we heard from our community. We closed on March 12th, and we heard right away from our community, especially our community of young adults with developmental and intellectual disabilities and their families, that this was untenable, that their programs had all been canceled, part-time jobs were gone, volunteer opportunities were gone, routines were disrupted, and people were struggling mightily even within that first week. So we quickly got some of our program moving online on March 14th and planned for what we would do. And so we came up with a program that the Young Adults Council called the Fun Intensive. They voted on it. It's a Zoom-based program. And this is one of a bunch of programs that we're doing, but this is the one I want to tell you about today. So this is what we learned. We convened our council that week, and we heard already they missed the JCC, they missed their friends, they missed connections. Everyone was anxious, and they wanted to keep their independence. People who were used to being able to walk to the corner store and buy something were now stuck at home, and really felt newly dependent on parents and caregivers in ways that they hadn't. People who'd worked hard to achieve life skills and be out living on their own moved back in with families. So that was really, really hard for people. So they wanted to feel independent, to be independent, to learn something new, and to have options. And parents wanted some respite, and they wanted it to be a one-click program so that there wasn't a lot of setup and there wasn't a lot of that they could just help someone get onto the program and let that person be independent. So we created a program that has 25 participants a week. It's a cohorted program. And one of the things we needed to have was IT coaching. And we wanted to keep it a gateway. We wanted to make sure that we were not creating a segregated online world, but that people in the program would learn about other things they could do online at the JCC and still be involved and integrated into our community. So connection and engagement, learn or build new skills, stay active, and respite were our goals. And we had, the program is run by our peer support worker and supported by the Wagner Green Family Trust and the Azrieli Foundation, who've been super generous and have helped make this a program without financial barriers, which is really important. So here's a sample schedule. you can get the idea. The young adult committee curates this, and they vote on what they want to do, and then we bring in specialists who make it possible. So it's a program 2 hours a day, every day, Monday to Friday, and it's an anchor for people's day. There's definitely an arts focus because that's a big interest. So this is an illustration class. This also looks like an illustration class. And we evaluated because we wanted to keep having this be an iterative thing and make it better as the pandemic changed. So I'll just give you quickly, you don't need to read through all of this with me, but one of the things I'm really happy about is 78% of our participants reported attending other virtual programming after they attended this. So it is still a gateway. Everyone would recommend it to a friend, and most people felt it was connection based and that there was learning and engagement. The parents and caregivers were very satisfied in terms of respite, and 100% felt it was an important part of their family's COVID response. So I won't read through these. I can say you can have these slides if you want them. But here's where we are now. We are offering more than 18 hours a week of live programming, and that's taxing for our staff, very taxing. And we're also looking at, when we do go back in person, are we going to have hybrid programming? There are certainly people who've attended programs online who never would have or could have come into the JCC, and we don't want to lose them, and we want to continue to have them be valued members of our community. So these are some of the questions we're looking at with our staff, with our young adults committee and our community advisory committee. And there we go. I'm going to stop my screen share. So hang on one sec. I have to get back in. Stop share. There we go. That's what's happening in Toronto and some of the ways we've shifted. And I'm sure there are many exciting things happening in JCCs all over North America. So I'm thrilled that we have this series of 4 workshops to learn more from each other. Limor, I'm already like, I'm thinking, you want to take young adults to Israel? We do RENA, like we're going to do a trip. So that's part of what the magic of these sessions are. So I'm going to turn it back to Todd.
Liv, as always, thank you so much. Incredibly inspiring. And I know there are a lot of us on the call today who have a lot of questions, and we've got about 10 or 15 minutes left that we can talk to each other. Liv, I know you'd said that you'll send the slideshow out. So I just want to let everyone know that we will find the way to send that to those that want it at the end. Before we dive into some of the audience questions, Limor, I just wanted to ask, are you all still in touch with some of the relationships that you developed while you were in Israel? I know you mentioned you went to Crembo Wings and you met with people in the partnership. How is that connection continuing?
Here I am. So, you know, the relationship, we haven't had the connection that we wanted to have. Life gets busy, but I think that knowing that there were communities like our own in Israel, and knowing that the reception is there and that we could always go back, I think that that's the powerful connection for us, is knowing that, you know, we're doing inclusion work here in Vancouver, and, you know, communities in the partnership are doing inclusion work, and just the experience, just those shared experiences, that those communities were part of our journey, I think is what stays with us. We'd love to return, but we'll see.
Well, and as Sarah said in the poem, we will return.
We will return.
If I can ask Sarah to join us for a moment. There are a number of questions in the chat, in the Q&A, about how to look for programs in Israel, both for maybe a year or to bring a group. Can you perhaps help guide a good place for people to begin?
First of all, I want to say that perhaps just relating to what Limor said in your question to her, and one of the silver linings of this terrible pandemic, I think it would mean that if you would come now, you would be continuing some of those relationships with Zoom. I just think that it's opened our eyes to the fact that you're sitting in Vancouver, I'm in Israel, Todd is in Tucson. I'm not sure where our interpreter Cheryl is sitting, but we're all over the place, and it doesn't matter, because once you've had that physical connection and we've met each other, we've hugged each other, we can continue. So I do think that for future, we go back to busy lives, but that's a possibility.
Absolutely.
So I invite, I'm based in Israel, and when we hope that our travel will get back to normal and people will feel that it's safe to travel and have had their vaccinations, and we will welcome with open arms travel to Israel. And you know, JCCs that are considering it, and Limor had already agreed to run a special Zoom session where we'll talk about the nitty gritty. How do you do it? How long in advance do you need to plan? So I'm happy for, perhaps if Mackenzie could put my name and email address in the chat. I'm happy to be a point person. If you're joining this Zoom and you're not from a JCC, happy to be of help, perhaps point you in other directions. I know that there are other organizations. We're not the only organization working with accessible travel. But I think we are the right organization, definitely for JCCs, because we understand your needs and where you're coming from. I've answered that question.
Terrific, thanks. And Limor and Liv, there was a question that was asked in the Q&A about employing people with disabilities. Do either of your agencies currently specifically do that?
We have, over the years, we've had a enterprise also called Bagel Club Catering, and it's changed over the years. It is a training program. We over the last couple of years, we've modified it. It got kind of too big to be sustainable, so we made it smaller and we brought it back to the JCC, so that community members could actually train at the JCC. Currently during COVID, we have hired some adults in our community with barriers for a few hours a week to help us roll out our outreach community kitchen. So a lot of what we have done in the past is food sharing. So very low barrier programming. We provide the food, we cook together, we build life skills, we enjoy each other's company. And like Liv was saying, the COVID situation created, such was such a disruption in people's lives, and particularly these community members. And so what we've done is we've created an outreach program where we continue to share food, to cook food over Zoom. In fact, in some ways, we're more accessible than we've ever been before. And we hire some of our community members to help us pack pre-portioned meal kits that go out to our community members. And so we're rolling out about 100 meals a week. And we have community members who are actually helping us make this programming work. So that's what we're doing right now. When COVID passes, hopefully we will be able to employ more people into our programming.
Wonderful. Liv?
We do. We don't have an in-house social enterprise, but we do collaborate with a couple of social enterprises in Toronto. What we've done in our inclusion area is we have a peer support worker position, which is held by someone with lived experience intentionally. And we also have the two chairs of the Youth Accessibility Advisory Committee, which change every year, but those two chairs are our paid interns. So they have a stipended paid position, and they're responsible for running that committee, which is really great. And we also have done a lot of work in general in our HR department to look at our policies around mental health, to look at the accessibility of our workplace. So we have people with lived experience of disability throughout our organization. But intentionally within our department, it's really our peer support worker position, which is like indispensable. She's amazing. And without her, a lot of things would not happen.
I think one of the themes that we've certainly heard is that everything is possible and opportunity is endless. And I think that's something that I would just like to underscore as a message. We've had the unique gift to hear from a couple of JCCs today. I do want to just take a moment to say that there is work in this space going on across the movement. And to name a few, the David Posnick JCC in Fort Lauderdale is doing wonderful work. The JCCs of Chicago, the JCC in Bridgewater, New Jersey, all of those all across the country are doing really deep and meaningful work. And I would encourage people on the call, if you're near a JCC, to certainly reach out and find out what your JCC is doing. Our JCC has a wonderful program called Taglit, and it will be featured at the program on February 25th. So I encourage you all to join us again on this Zoom. And JCC Association dove in last year. We had intention of having the first fully accessible JCC Maccabi Games in the summer of 2020. And unfortunately, COVID got in the way of that, but it will not get in the way of it happening when COVID is over. So we look forward to returning to more and more activity with more depth. As we start to come in for a landing here today, Liv and Limor, if there's one thing you could leave us with as a thought, what would you want to say to all of the people that have joined us today? Liv, why don't we start with you this time?
I'm going to echo your message of endless opportunity. This is all doable. Like I said, 6 years ago, we didn't have any real programming in this area at our J. It's all doable. And if you bring in the community and find out what people need and want and what they can contribute, the possibilities are absolutely endless.
Limor?
Yeah, consultation, just listening to your community members. Liv, I think your programming is extraordinary. And thank you. You know, we too, you know, we didn't do any of the advocacy work, any of the visibility work. We didn't have the programming that we have now over the last few years. And much of it comes from, you know, consultation. What do people want to be doing, you know, and how can we as a JCC, you know, accommodate them so that not only do they have their own programming, but that they can also mainstream into the rest of the programming at the JCC. And also just sharing opportunity, always thinking about how do we share the opportunities we have. You know, and that's where the inclusion comes in, right? Is when everyone gets to be at the table.
So there's a question that just came out about the recording to share with board members. I know we are recording this session, and as Mark goes into his wrap up, he'll perhaps be able to let you know how we can get a hold of the recording. I want to end by thanking all of our panelists today for not just what you did today, but what you do every day to help make this world a better place and a more inclusive space. I want to thank JCC Association for leading the way and providing opportunities for us to be together. And I would like to let Mark, out of respect for our time, I want to end on time. And I would like to let Mark Horowitz close us out for the day. So thank you all for joining us and for being a part of today's session.
Thank you very much. It was great being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Todd, so much. We would like to thank Todd, all of our presenters, for an emotional, stimulating, and creative session that helps us to highlight the excellent and imperative work being done in JCCs across the continent. It was a very emotional day for those of us who've been working on this, and I hope for you as well. Thanks to our Inclusion Working Group for making this possible, and to JFNA for their support in so many ways. We're grateful you have joined us and look forward to hearing from you about your experience today. If you're interested in continuing the conversation, please be in touch with us at JCC Association. You can find me, this is easy, at mark@jcca.org. And please join us next week at the same time. This session will feature 3 presentations. Our moderator will be Scott Ehrlich, CEO of David Posnick JCC in Davie, Florida. And the presenters will be presenting on the Gift Shop, a very special gift shop on wheels with Debbie Lombard from the Posnack JCC, a presentation on theater for all 20 years of shows with a special cast with Laura Seymour, who's from the Aaron Family JCC in Dallas, and a presentation called Beyond Access and Tolerance, Designing an Inclusive Space, which will be presented by Sarah Wasserman, who's at the Blaustein Early Childhood Center at the Birnbaum JCC in Bridgewater, New Jersey. We hope you've been stimulated. We hope you've been empowered. We hope that you will go back, not only feel saw and heard today, but be a member of the team and of the community to ensure inclusive services for everyone across the continent. And we hope that you have a wonderful and an inclusive day. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.